Welcome to the One Berry Lane podcast. I'm Principal Matt Jones. This is episode 9, and we have in office, but at a social distance, LHS art teacher, the 2020 Crystal Berry Award winner. She's also our sponsor for the Student Council. Correct. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We've just got a lot going on right now.
Well, first off, congratulations on your very deserving Crystal Berry Award.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Was that a surprise?
Yeah, so I had no idea. And I was just getting ready to hand out meals for Felix's pantry. And all of a sudden, Mrs. Starkey and Mrs. Haggerty and Mr. Jones and all these people that are really important to me in my life come walking down the hallway, and I'm like, what is going on? So it was really, it was emotionally overwhelming, very humbling. All the projects that I do, I couldn't do without all those people that were in that room with me. So that support, and it was just like a really tough year this year. I think everybody knows that. And to get that award and to be nominated by my peers for that award was just really extremely, really fills my heart with gratefulness. So.
Well, definitely well-deserving, and all the work that, and as a principal, I greatly appreciate everything you do, not only in the classroom, but also beyond the classroom walls. The Student Council, I think at one time you were the cheerleading coach, sponsor.
Seems like a whole lifetime ago.
Prom sponsor, yeah.
And then I had my babies and I had to give some things up, but then it feels like I just filled my plate right back up with other things. So
the Felix's Pantry,
Pantry has
big.
Just like taken on a life of its own. We started in January when we came back to school. We had food donations, and it was just a place where we wanted kids to be able to access food that had food insecurity at home. There's no income requirements. Anyone in the building can come and get the canned goods. And then we had the pandemic, and we had COVID, and we cleaned out our pantry. The first food pickup, when we had the lunches and dinner, or the lunches and breakfast pickup, we just bagged up all the groceries and we just gave them away to people that came to pick up meals. And then my sister, Kelly Pearson, who's the principal at Columbia Elementary, she and I started talking, and we're like, what can we do to help these families through this tough time? We knew a lot of people were going to be out of work. And a lot of people were going to be affected by, closures of places. And so Gina Curl at Bruno's Pizza reached out to us, and she said, I'd love to give away some pizzas. And we worked with her vendors to order like meatballs and spaghetti and do sauce. And she made some pizzas, and we gave all those away the first week, and then it just kind of snowballed, and we started getting Boardwalk Cafe reached out, and they gave away meals, and B&K West, and we've used Happy Burger. So now it's every Thursday we are giving away free family meals. So like this next Thursday, we'll be at Columbia Elementary from 4 to 6 p.m. And those meals will be it'll be breadsticks and pizza from Boardwalk, or will be, you can get 4 subs from Bruno's. And then we also have a dozen hot dogs and buns and Spanish sauce from B&K. So families can choose, and that is actually being funded through the city of Logansport. They receive some COVID relief money. So we're just helping facilitate that now. But through the donations that we received, monetary donations, we were able to pay our vendors and pay our restaurants to provide those meals to us, even if it's just their cost. So they're not out because, a lot of restaurants hurt during this time too. So
yeah, and unfortunately, some of them are starting to get back open.
Right. And Gina at Bruno's, they were pretty good. I mean, they were then that was one of the reasons why she reached out, because she said, we're doing really good business still, and I want to help if I can. Same thing with Brenda, and then Sherry at HAPS. So we've just kind of used who we could and our contacts, and it's just really been an amazing, this community is just like, every turn is like, blows me away of like how much outpouring of love there is. So
right, in times of need and tough times, we pull together and help each other.
We help each other out. So it's just been amazing, that aspect of the Felix's Pantry.
Right.
So
it all started with that. So how many meals have you guys been doing?
So when we started in March, April, and May, we did 100 meals. So those are family meals. So they feed approximately 4 to 6 people. And then now, this past 2 weeks, we've had 200 meals because the city has a little bit more money than we do. So they were able to do 200 meals. And then this next week, we have 150 meals. So yeah. Oh, I want to plug La Fiesta also has been amazing. They've given taco meals and rice and tortillas and been awesome. So I want to make sure that I thank my sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They are, we greatly appreciate everything that they've done. And a lot of them are local.
Yes.
Local favorites.
All local favorites, all people that are like, this community has helped build us. So we want to give back. And that's just awesome.
You're a 2002 graduate, is that right?
Correct. I did graduate from Logansport High School in 2002. And then I did my freshman year at Purdue University. I studied visual communications. And then I decided I really wanted to get into the arts. So I transferred to IUPUI to the Heron School of Art and Design, where I earned my Bachelor's of Art Education. And then I have my Master's in Educational Leadership from Trine University.
And your father, the great Mr. Steve Vogelin, taught me everything I know about woodworking.
Yes.
As a former student of his from Lincoln Middle School.
Yes. Both my parents they're retired teachers. My dad taught at Lincoln forever. It seemed like, I don't even know how many years he was there, but Steve Vogelin's my father.
Vogie,
yes. And then my mom is Deb Vogelin, and she taught at Fairview Elementary, and then she also taught at Camelot Care Center, and she was a special needs teacher. So they're huge influences in my life. They've really always supported me. They've taught me about kindness and perseverance, and just following your dreams and making stuff happen. You know, if you got something to do, like, do it, make it happen. So
it was so apparent how proud they were of you in being when you received that award, and it was pretty special.
Yeah, it was. It was so cool to have my parents there, and to have my brother and my sister, and I have another brother. He lives up in the UP of Michigan, so obviously he wasn't there, but my kids and my husband. I was just so, like, everyone just showed up, and it was overwhelming.
Tell us a little about your family.
So I have 2 children, Harrison, who is 7, and he goes to Landis. He's in the dual language program over there. And I have a daughter, Charlotte. She is 5, and she will be starting at Landis in the dual language program as a kindergartner this next fall. And then my husband is Mitch Werner, and he works for Shear Printing out of Kokomo. But he most of his clients and customers are in Logansport, so he works a lot from home. And yeah, we just live here. And I did my first year of teaching in Lafayette, and I thought, I'm going to get out of Logansport. And I cried so much. I was so homesick. I missed my parents. I missed my sister. And I just kept emailing you and asking you if there were any openings for an art teacher, and there became one.
It all worked out.
And so here I am back in my hometown, and we love it in Logansport. So we're happy.
And the neat thing about the dual language immersion program for your kids, they're taking half the days in English, and then the other second half of the days all in Spanish.
Correct. So Harrison's day is it flip-flops at semester, but his English, so his reading, writing, story, reading comprehension, all of that is in English. And then his Spanish part of the day is math and science. So that was a huge challenge when we went to e-learning for COVID, because I got to be that parent of like an EL kid because I was like trying to navigate this language I didn't know, and my son, who's learning it, was trying to help me. So it has been an eye-opening experience for all of us, I think. But I'm so excited that my kids have this opportunity to learn a language at such a young age.
They're going to be pretty proficient
yes,
in 2 languages.
I mean, and I just cannot wait for that, because I think it's going to be amazing. And I think it's going to be amazing when we see those kids at the high school level, when they work through that program and then they're freshmen. I think we're going to see just this cool melding of kids just being like a one unit. I think it's going to be awesome.
So at LHS, you teach different types of art classes.
I do.
A lot of 2D art, photography.
Correct. I teach intro to 2D, which is like our basic art class, but flat stuff. So
do you have anything
painting,
pre-basic? That would probably be
that
me.
would be more you.
That'd be for me.
Yeah. No, we don't have a survey course or anything.
Okay.
And then I teach advanced 2D, and then I also teach the photography classes here on the LHS side. We have photography classes in the Career Center as well, but we do more fine art photography. So in my class, we do darkroom photography, and we're doing more of the creative process instead of like the industry standard programs and things that they do over in the Career Center. But I tell my kids, if they want to be a photographer when they grow up, they should do both, because they need to find where they fall in artistically. And taking my class is going to help them if they're going to be be in the industry, and taking Mrs. Feller's class over in the Career Center is going to help them as an artist too, because they're going to learn the programs and how to manipulate images further. We just don't have time to do that. You just can't do it all. So
well, and that's the lucky thing about our campus with having the attached Career Center, and then all the elective programming that we have on our side, and then you bundle it with the Career Center side. Our kids have a lot of opportunities to find their career pathway.
Absolutely.
And to expose themselves to a variety of coursework and experiences even within the same pathway.
And I think it's also important that we work, I'm myself especially, I work pretty closely with a lot of the Career Center teachers, especially in like the building trades. When we do the cutouts for Christmas in the Park, they cut them out. We talk about scale and size and how, do we want it primed, or how, materials. They help us with that. We work with I talk with Mrs. Feller in the photography department. I figure out what they're working on. And in the graphic design, we talk about the creative process and logos and how that's different and what they can learn. So I think especially the arts really lends itself to, and I've even worked with Mike Shannon in the criminal justice. We did a whole unit on light painting, which is where if you have a very dark room, you open the aperture on your camera and you use a flashlight and you move it back and forth to light the entire room without using a flash, so that you get more detail in the photograph. And so they were talking about crime scenes and things like that. So cross-curricular for sure.
Wow. You are also, I would say, the proper term, curator, maybe for our LHS Art Gallery, which was a project back in, I think it goes back to 2014.
How long ago was that, Mr. Jones? I can't even remember.
The art department wrote a grant, community foundation grant for $20,000 to convert a space on the LHS side into a professional art gallery.
Yep.
And we won it. So we're so grateful to Deanna Crispin and her crew for that, and the committee. And we used our building trades students to help build it
Yep.
and renovate it, and it turned out into a wonderful space that I know a lot of schools that if they come around to LHS and see it, or former alumni and they see that, they're always so impressed.
Yeah. If you haven't been in the gallery, you got to stop by and check it out. Because I mean, it's like my students all the time say when we go in the gallery, it doesn't even feel like we're in the school anymore. You know, we have that beautiful wood floor from the gray mill, and we have our walls are plywood, and then they have drywall over the top so we can hang super heavy, art pieces. We have that great track lighting. We have the exposed ceiling. It's just so amazing. And if you went to Logansport High School, fairly recently, you would have seen that as like a health room.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, that was actually where Mr. Sullivan's room was, with the dark room was in that area. So if you come back and you check that out, I think you're going to be really impressed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's always, I always get, gosh, I wish they would have had that when we were here.
Oh, yeah.
Or when I was here. And we also have to thank Jim Cook and his crew, the maintenance, helped with some of the lighting and some of the maintenance stuff in there. And then Joe Ness, Dean of Students, did a lot of the painted. We wanted to make it a lot of the black, flat, industrial look.
Yeah, really a modern space. And it's amazing. And I wish it was more accessible from the outside of the school, but it just didn't turn out that way, just the way the school's laid out. But if you ever have a chance to come to one of our shows, you can follow our Facebook page, LHS Art Gallery. And we post when we're going to have open houses and stuff. So, make sure you come by and check that out.
And you always keep me on my toes with projects. And
I do.
You come to me for these things, and we just always try to figure out how to get it done.
Yeah.
So I always appreciate your creativity and leadership with that, and just striving to always add something to help not only Logansport High School, but the community.
Yeah.
And one of those things right now, you're doing some art murals, which you guys have done some in the past downtown to kind of, how would you say about that project? Just get arts in the downtown?
So it's really just art beautification. It's redevelopment. I work closely with Erin Shaver of the city county planner. And she always can tell me where the next project's going to be. So 6th Street, where we're at right now, is getting a facelift.
It looks great.
It is going to get new streetscaping, and all those businesses in there are getting new facades on the front. And so when that was coming around, Erin was like, this building, this county building, is just so beige. So I worked with Erin and Molly Graybill, and we initially it was going to be Molly and I as artists doing this. But then when we saw the real estate, we were like, oh, goodness.
That's a big canvas.
That's a big canvas. And as much talent that Molly has and that I have, we just wouldn't have been able to do it without the manpower of the kids. So we turned it into this, we just kind of turned it over and made it into this project based with the students. So we wrote a grant with Okra and the Indiana Arts Council. And this grant had to have $5,000 matching funds, and then we received $5,000. So it's a $10,000 grant. And, we paid for supplies and the paint and everything. And I'm grateful to our county commissioners who approved our designs and approved the use of the building, because they could have easily said, no, we're not doing that. So how this all rolled out was we received the grant and we said, okay, I made an assignment for my students. And I said, all right, I want you guys to Google search interactive murals, and I want you to find some ideas. And they all had to do 4 sketches, and I had 50 kids. So we ended up with, tons of sketches, because some of them did 4 and some of them did 8 and some of them did, 6. So they all came up with these ideas, and I compiled them, and I kind of pulled out the ones that I thought were the strongest, and I took them to the commissioners, and they approved them. And then that's kind of how we got what we got on the side of the wall. So all of that was driven by the students. All the designs were driven by the students. And then the county primed, painted, repainted their building, and then we were ready to start June 1st. So
you guys are flying.
Oh, we are.
You guys have every time it's like I see the pictures on Facebook, and plus I go down by there. It's really coming together.
And, last night when I was driving down 6th Street coming from Columbia after the meal distribution, there were already people there taking pictures.
With the umbrella.
With the umbrella, with the butterfly wings. So if you haven't seen it, they're interactive murals. So they're murals that you stand in front of and you become a part of the artwork. So the whole premise is hashtag see yourself in Logansport, hashtag Marate and Logansport. So it's see yourself in Logansport. How do you see yourself in Logansport? So we're hoping that when people take pictures, they post it with the hashtag so we can kind of build this digital footprint. And, there's books. So I can see like graduation pictures being taken there, and there's balloons, and there's all of them, there are like a smaller child-sized version, and then there's an adult version of whatever you're interacting with. So, if you have little kids or big kids or any, so it's really for the whole community.
There's a great bass, like a fish, near the bridge. It's pretty cool,
the largemouth bass.
Yeah.
And, we had Diego and Euphemio. They both drew that freehand. And that's the other thing. All the student work that you're seeing, the students did with chalk freehand on the wall. Those giant letters we drew out freehand on the wall. All the imagery inside the letters, nothing's projected. So same way with our mural that we did at Fernbaugh's Jewelry. Same way with the mural that we did at Tower Park, Mulhausen Park, the bathhouse. I mean, our students, I just hand them. And my buddy, Molly Graybill, who we're working with, she's helping the kids with the letters and, kind of being like our resident artist. She was just amazed that I could just give these kids these sketches, and they were like, okay. And they just
let them go.
Just
let
did
the
it.
creativity kick in.
Yeah. So,
impressive.
And they're learning so much of learning blending and shading and just all kinds of things that you just can't do. And you do it in the classroom on a small scale, but when they see their project, and another, just one more piece of that is we have probably 8 to 10 of our newcomer students. So new to the USA, new to Logansport. Most of them are Guatemalan. And they have very limited English, but in our grant, we wrote in to get a translator. So Fatima Franco she's our translator, and she's doing a wonderful job. And it's just so cool to see the diversity of the kids creating this amazing mural for this diverse community.
Yeah.
So it's just I was crying last Friday taking pictures because I'm just so proud. It's just watching it come to fruition is.
Yeah. We're extremely proud of our diversity. It's one of the big strengths of Logansport High School.
Absolutely. These kids, they amaze me every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's great. So if you're driving down by High Street and coming to 6th Street, right there, boom, it's right.
I will tell you, just park your car, go to Black Dog Coffee or La Fiesta or the Puerto Rican restaurant down there, and then take a walk down 6th Street right before the bridge, and you'll see our murals and take pictures. People are honking at us every morning and telling us what a great job we're doing. And the kids just love it. And they're having a blast. And we have about 28 students that are working with us.
Right.
So, that's a huge number of kids participating. I don't know if they were just super excited to get out of quarantine or they were just super excited for an awesome project, but we're glad.
Yes and yes.
Yes. I think we are just so glad to have them all.
Good. Great. Well, it looks awesome.
Well, thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah, something that everybody can be proud of. So we are going to end this with what's called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for rapid fire? This will be real easy. My favorite band or musician is?
Oh, that's tough. Tom Petty.
Poor Tom. We lost Tom Petty. Was that last year?
I know. That was the day the music died for real.
Well, yeah, right.
But that's my jams.
Yeah.
So that's what I listen to when I'm painting, and
sure,
I make the kids listen to it.
Yeah, I heard him some last night on the radio. It's like, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
He was so good. Your first car?
A 1983 Chevy Celebrity station wagon.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
all four of us learned to drive
They
in that
passed it
car.
through,
And that was the very first car my parents ever bought brand new, too. So, yeah, the
Nice.
grocery getter.
The grocery getter. Favorite movie?
Oh, gosh. A League of Their Own.
Oh, okay. Some of it filmed in Indiana.
Yeah.
In Evansville.
Yeah. And a lot of it's just right here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the
Girls Baseball League.
Girls Baseball League. Yeah.
And Sue Kidd,
right.
who lived in Logansport,
Yes.
just passed away a few years ago.
Yep.
Was in the movie.
She was. Yep.
She was big. I mean, there's baseball cards of Sue Kidd. She taught, I think, PE at Fairview at one point. And you can Google, and there's her baseball card from that era. Yeah.
Yeah. My sister and I, we love that movie.
Favorite artist? That's a tough question.
Oh, that's
an
hard.
impossible question.
For me, I love Impressionism. I mean, Van Gogh would be easy to say, but I do love modern. I love modern Impressionism, so I can't nail it down to one artist.
Okay. Favorite season?
Oh, fall.
Okay. What's your favorite carnival food?
Oh, carnival food. Tom's Tasty Taters.
Tom's Tasty Taters.
Do you know what those are?
I do not.
They're like the ones that they use the drill on and ribbon fries. Do you know what? Do you go to the fair? They sell them at the walleye fish booth.
Well, I do like the walleye fish. I mean, who doesn't like walleye?
I know.
Like fish.
But yes, it's they're like ribboned potatoes, and they're like potato chips and French fries, like one. But they use this. It's really cool. They use this drill to create it with this drill bit on it. Anyway. That's my favorite.
I'll have to try them.
Yeah.
We are still having a fair, right?
I think so, but I don't know if they're having vendors, so you may have to.
Name your bucket list item. A bucket list item.
Oh, Yosemite.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us on the 9th episode. Congratulations again on being the Crystal Berry Award winner.
Thank you.
And also thank you for going above and beyond for not only LHS, but the community.
Well, you're welcome.
All right. Well, everybody out there, stay safe and stay healthy until next time we see you on the One Berry Lane podcast.